I'm Andre Huey, and this is the best of the WINN Weekender. The WINN Weekender started in March 2014. The response has been overwhelming, with an average of 10,000 views per week, with almost 50,000 views in one episode. We want to relive some of those reports that stood out on the Weekender over the last few months. We begin with a report from our first program, that of the Bastyr High School saga back in March 2014.
Wednesday morning, the Minister of Education, Nigel Carty, issued a statement pointing fingers at dermatologist Dr. Thelma Philip-Brown, accusing her of collaborating with some teachers to plan a strike. Wednesday afternoon, Dr. Brown responded, insisting that she had no agenda beyond ensuring that the campus environment was safe.
I saw a child recently who had actually what we'd call a chemical burn both sides of her eyes. Whatever was irritating her eyes, she was rubbing it so much that it burned all the sides, both sides of her eyes, and on the right eyelid. And I didn't even write anything about that. All I wrote was a note to the teacher that she wouldn't sweep because she also gets a problem when she's sweeping. That's all I wrote. When I gave the letter to the mother, she looked at it and she said, "I hope nothing in here to make them get angry." And the child said, "So what if they get angry?" And I almost cried because I realized that we are so politicized that the children are suffering. And our first thought, even as parents, is offending somebody else.
Dr. Brown believes that her call to have a team from Kariri brought back to St. Kitts to conduct follow-up tests as they had recommended is not being taken seriously because of her affiliation with an opposition party. Do you have an agenda? Are you making these statements for political gain or political mileage?
I'm not running anywhere. In terms of talking frankly, what I see and the concerns I've done it for almost 30 years in this country, whoever government is in power. I've spoken when Pam was there, I've seen an issue, I've spoken against it, and the same here. I help this Labour government to get in. If I'm talking now, it's because I think something is wrong.
In a statement issued Wednesday, Minister of Education Nigel Carty levelled accusations at Dr. Philip-Brown, suggesting that with the facilitation of the president of the St. Kitts Teachers Union, she's trying to encourage teachers at the Bastyr High School to go on strike. Minister Carty says that at a meeting Tuesday held at the offices of the Teachers Union President, Mr. Ron Collins, Dr. Philip-Brown set out to scare the teachers who were present by telling them that the school was contaminated. Her conclusions, he says, are baseless, erroneous and deliberate and contrary to the findings of Kariri. Dr. Philip-Brown denies that she has ever been asked by the ministry to provide information about her patients to the Ministry of Health, as Minister Carty said in his statement on Wednesday.
I started seeing students complaining of different issues, students and teachers. Shortly after the school reopened, I waited until November. Just to be sure, I spoke to the headmistress to ensure that really there were issues, that there were symptoms, that this was not just psychological. I wrote to the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Education. I copied several persons, including Ministry of Health, CMO, Teachers Union, etc., and the other members on the committee. I have not had a response from anyone, so I'm not sure who said that I should provide information because I was not told that.
She dismissed the assertion by Minister Carty that she was due to speak at a PTA meeting on Wednesday with the aim of eliciting a desired result.
I really don't wish to get into any back and forth with the minister. I noticed he said that Kariri said this school was free of, or something to that effect, of contamination. So I will encourage him to make the report public so everyone can see for themselves whether that is the truth or not.
Wednesday afternoon, the president of the St. Kitts Teachers Union, Ron Collins, also responded to the minister's statement Wednesday.
There are a number of teachers who have reported to the Teachers Union that they are experiencing the same vertigo, dizziness, the rashes, various breakout in their face, the itching, and the list goes on. The same areas of ailments that were being experienced before. What we did as a union, because we know that this is a very politically charged environment, and so as a union, we wrote to the Minister of Education several weeks ago requesting audience so that we can properly adjust and we ask critical questions to ensure that everything was good at Bastille High. But the areas of illness have grown. In fact, last week, I again was bombarded with reports from teachers. The teachers' union at the executive level has addressed this. They recommended that we write to the minister, which we did. He has not to date even acknowledged receipt of the correspondence.
Mr. Collins, who is also a guidance counsellor at Bastille High, defended Dr. Brown's attendance at the meeting on Tuesday, saying that she had been asked to serve as the union's medical advisor while the air quality issues at the school were being dealt with. Responding to the minister's claim that a number of teachers have reported that they're being pressured into facilitating a strike, Mr. Collins categorically denied that teachers were planning industrial action.
Opposition Alliance Team Unity took their protest action in front of the St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla National Bank, the workplace of the Speaker of the House, Mr. Curtis Martin. But it was the protest action in St. Vincent and the Grenadines in March and the events that followed here in St. Kitts that took center stage.
The Caribbean community, CARICOM, has been found wanting and is guilty of ignoring constitutional breaches in one of its member states, according to Dr. Timothy Harris, the head of the opposition alliance in St. Kitts and Nevis known as Team Unity. Team Unity and the official opposition in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the New Democratic Party, joined forces in Kingstown Monday in holding protests and other activities aimed at forcing CARICOM heads at their intersessional conference in St. Vincent to put the no-confidence motion stalemate in Bastille on the CARICOM agenda. Their efforts appear to have overshadowed the official CARICOM meeting. At a news conference Monday, Team Unity's Timothy Harris blasted CARICOM for not helping resolve the crisis in St. Kitts. Embracing the opportunity to address a regional audience through the media gathered in St. Vincent for the summit, Dr. Harris said CARICOM was making a mistake by allowing the situation in Bastille to fester without helping find a remedy.
Some say that there is no public disorder, there is no roadblock revolution, there is no looting and burning and killing. So the people of Venezuela and the Ukraine come in for special attention from CARICOM for what some may describe as unlawful behavior, while the peace-loving people of St. Kitts and Nevis are ignored, forgotten, and unrewarded for good public behavior. It appears that CARICOM leaders will not speak on the issues of political morality, the continuous and deliberate breaches of our Constitution, the undermining of democratic systems and institutions, and the threat to freedom and democracy as we know it, until the people of St. Kitts and Nevis do like the people of Venezuela and the Ukraine and start killing each other. Well, we in Team Unity do not agree with that notion. And we think it is a false proposition because we see the civil unrest in the eyes of the people. We feel their uncertainty and despair because under this illegitimate Douglas regime, they do not know what the future holds for St. Kitts and Nevis. Our people are tired of that illegitimate Prime Minister.
The opposition leader in St. Vincent and the Grenadines too, Anim Eustace, reiterated concerns about lack of CARICOM attention to the St. Kitts problem. He warned that if left unchecked, the non-tabling of the motion of no confidence in the Denzil Douglas administration could unravel gains made at both CARICOM and OECS level.
The Constitution, and particularly the parliamentary process in our sister state of St. Kitts Nevis, is under siege. Democracy in St. Kitts Nevis has been compromised for nearly 15 months. Petitions and divisions and CARICOM nationals in general are confronted with the most undemocratic of absurdities in minority government. This destruction or this tear in the political fabric of St. Kitts threatens to unravel CARICOM and the OECS sub-regions. We talk a lot about the integrity of our democratic process. but that strength is only as strong as it is vibrant in our weakest member.
Meanwhile, at the official CARICOM conference opening, the grouping's chairman, Vincentian Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves, spoke to the items on the agenda.
This intersessional conference of heads of state and government has nominally a long agenda. Essentially, though, the subjects to be discussed or reviewed for determination have one focus. That is, the improvement in the quality of life and living of the people of our CARICOM region. Our deliberations at this conference do not take place in an abstract world, but in lived global, regional, and national conditions, stuffed with possibilities and limitations. The real world of life, living, and production compels us at this time to reflect centrally on the measures for strengthening our regional and national economies, including the fortification of the Caribbean single market and economy, addressing efficaciously the existential challenge of climate change, improving markedly the delivery of air and sea transport, enhancing citizen security, facilitating socio-economic development through ICT, lifting further our region's human and social development, and coordinating better our region's foreign and external policies.
However, Team Unity and its Vincentian counterpart back at the news conference were insisting that the regional grouping continues to deliberately ignore the no-confidence motion matter in Basseterre.
Albert Einstein once said, quote, "The world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but by those who watch them without doing anything." End of quote. The silence of CARICOM heads can be as deafening as the loudest voice. St. Kitts and Nevis wants the restoration of our constitutional democracy. And a government whose right to govern is validated by the mandate of a majority of elected members of Parliament. We want compliance with the ruling of the High Court judge delivered on or about February 12, 2014 in the motion of no confidence case.
I'm Ken Richards for WINN Weekender.
And while the protests in St. Vincent and the Grenadines were ongoing, Team Unity protesters in St. Kitts continued the picket of the workplace of Speaker of the National Assembly, Curtis Martin. They also took a step further.
Well, today we started a bit later today. We're mixing it up. Normally we are down here like 6 o'clock in the morning. We decided to come closer to lunchtime today and do it differently. In fact, it's so different. I don't think we had any security personnel down here at the time that we were demonstrating. The Speaker of the House came out, and we followed him. The protesters followed him down to the ICCS and the school that his child attends.
Following the Speaker to the ICCS, the school of his daughter did not sit well with at least one person. This traffic warden verbally engaged two placard-bearing protesters. Thank you for watching this edition of the Best of the WINN Weekender. I'm Andre Huey. Join us next week for more.